What's up guys, my name's Sam with Wiki, and this is Going Nuclear, a weekly series where I show some nuclear metal gameplays, aka 30 gun streak in Black Ops 2, and give you guys some tips and tricks. Today I'm going to be talking about the best score streak setup for getting a nuclear medal, but before I do that, as you can see, I am playing some ground war domination here on Yemen. You can see my class setup just to the right of the screen and the Going Nuclear countdown at the bottom. Now my class setup in this gameplay is definitely not a class that I would recommend to use when going for a 30 gun streak for a few different reasons. It does not have a suppressor, it does not have ghost, and it does not have scavenger, but sometimes you gotta mix it up a bit, and this is a very fun class to use. Now I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm not completely sure what the proper way to pronounce this gun is. I've heard it been pronounced a few different ways before. I usually just call it the chickadee myself, but for this video I'm just going to be referring to it as the Chick-Com. If you have used this gun before and haven't really found it to be that good of a gun, which was my first impressions of this gun, I would highly recommend using this class setup. With these three attachments, the Chick-Com becomes a lot better. Normally I would suggest fast mags, but for this gun I found myself reloading in the middle of a gunfight just too often, so I threw on extended mags and it got the job done. So extended mags mixed with the laser sight and the long barrel makes this weapon very deadly. Since I don't have fast mags or scavenger, I threw on fast hands so I can pick up guns off the ground and switch back and forth a bit faster. Lightweight is going to allow me to run faster, obviously, and then dexterity was a good complement to fill that last spot in my creative class. Normally when I'm playing domination, I try to rush the enemy spawn and spawn trap them as best as I can, but since I didn't have a suppressor or scavenger, spawn trapping would be pretty difficult, so I played the midfielder role, if you will, in this game, and basically just protected B and then took C/protected C when we had it. For the most part, I stuck to the side of the map on the outskirts of C and B. I didn't really go into the middle of the map too much other than to cap Bravo a couple of times and then defend it a couple of times. The reason being is because you never want to go in the middle of the map if you don't need to, and I'm a lot more comfortable with my playstyle and with this class setup to stick to this side of the map as opposed to the opposite side. For whatever reason, I just have more success over here on this right side, coastal side if you will, on the map. Now as for my score streaks, I am now a Prestige Master and I have gotten several different nuclear medals in Black Ops 2, and in doing so I have used several different score streak setups at the same time. So out of all of the different good score streak setups to use, I found that the setup of the stealth helicopter, orbital VSAT, and escort drone is the most efficient way to go. So when setting up different score streak setups, your goal is always to loot VSATs as much as possible, at least when it comes to getting nuclear medals. With this setup, there is constant flow of VSATs up in the air, and after you call in your first VSAT, your minimap will almost consistently be lit up with those beautiful red triangles that consist of the orbital VSAT. There is one stipulation that I must say: I wouldn't use this setup if you are playing Team Deathmatch and looking to get a nuclear medal at the same time, just because TDM can be a lot faster game type, not necessarily the game style, the game play, but it will end quicker. So I would normally go with UAV, counter UAV, and the orbital VSAT while playing Team Deathmatch and going for a nuclear medal at the same time, just because I know I play ground war a lot. I know some of you guys will probably play ground war a lot too, and at least for me, sometimes I'm going for a specific nuclear gameplay, and when TDM pops up, you know, I don't want to just back out every time, so I throw on the UAV, counter UAV, and orbital VSAT. Otherwise, I usually rock this stealth helicopter, orbital VSAT, and escort drone to get my nuclear medals. Now, the cool thing about these two helicopters is that they will actually target enemies based on their threat level. Their main priority is not getting shot down, so they will target enemies that are trying to shoot them down first and foremost. After that, they target enemies that are the biggest threat to you. So a quick little tip: if you have an escort drone up in the air and you hear it or see it getting kills, don't be afraid to just sit there for a couple of seconds and let it go to town. It will easily get you a quad feed, because if you start to run in another direction or something like that, it might lose sight of the enemies, because obviously it follows you around, it hovers around you. So I usually call in the stealth helicopter as well as the escort drone in as soon as I get them, just because I like to start working up to another VSAT as fast as possible. I know that some people using this setup like to wait to call in the helicopters at different times, but for me, it's better to loot VSATs if you just call them in as soon as you get them. That's what I found to be more successful. But it also depends on the situation, of course. Here's a bit of information that might help you out. First of all, the VSAT is going to last 50 seconds no matter what. 50, 50, not 15. Definitely 50, almost a minute there. So if there is only a minute left in the round, if you're playing something like Domination, you can still call in your orbital VSAT and get the maximum bang for your buck. And as for the helicopters, they will both last for a minute before they start flying away. So another good thing about this setup is that after you get a VSAT, you only need an additional 50 points of score to get that escort drone. And very often you will find that you get them at the same exact time. So you are going to be earning score towards your next VSAT basically right after you get the original VSAT, rather than other setups like the VSAT Dog Swarm or something like that, where you are taking up at least half of your original VSAT, if not the whole thing, just getting to your swarm. And right here on the gameplay, 2 kills left now until the nuclear. There's one more, and there is the nuclear medal. Actually, count out the rest of this gameplay, guys. The final score was 67-1. If you enjoyed, please blow up that like button and check out my channel in the description. That is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. Autobots, roll out.